SAVE Act. So we're going to talk about it. So basically, it's the Voter Act. Like you got to show ID uh, to vote, show citizenship, brother. Let me run it.
Good evening, everybody. This is a very important night on the House floor. House Republicans tonight stood with the overwhelming majority of Americans who demand secure elections. Standing with me are some of the champions of this cause in the House and some of the leaders outside our chamber who've been working on this issue to ensure this integrity for quite some time. And this is a big achievement tonight. By voting for the Save America Act, House Republicans did exactly what the American people set us here to do. It's promises made, promises kept. Ensuring the integrity of elections is an essential issue. It's essential to maintaining our constitutional republic. And everybody in this country seems to understand and agree to that. This is about a 90-10 issue in the polling because all that we've done tonight in this simple piece of legislation is apply common sense. All this Save America Act does is it enhances the Save Act, which you've already passed twice before, which says that you have to have proof of citizenship before you register to vote in federal elections. The law already provides for that, but we need to ensure that it's enforced. And the second part of it, what we added tonight and what is part of the Save America Act is the second piece, the very common sense requirement that you have a photo ID if you're going to vote. So that's it. That's what the bill does. Proof of citizenship and photo ID to vote. Everyone in the country understands the necessity of that, understands how simple it is and how important it is. And the only people that oppose it are people who want to cheat our system, who want to participate in our elections illegally, unlawfully. And that's not fair to the American people and the citizens of this country. And so we had only one House Democrat participate with us tonight. Um, this has become a bitter partisan fight, and it's madness to us. We can't quite understand what the rationale is for opposing a free and fair election.
I'll stop it right there. So the SAVE Act. Long story short, you need to verify that you are a citizen um, to be able to vote in the national. And they said they didn't even say a local election like state, city, because I'm assuming that has to be something that's passed by your state. But for a national election, you have to basically verify that you are. It has to be verified that you are a citizen of the United States. And so my question is to you, Cuzzo, why would somebody oppose having to show ID, you know, uh, for voting?
That's a good question. I don't know why somebody would oppose because you have to show ID to do anything that's important that's pertaining to you specifically as an individual, everywhere you do business, um, unless this is an anonymous vote and you don't want to know who's voting, then yeah, I can see, why something like that will be implemented or something that like that should need to be implemented. But, when you've had the last two elections that we've all heard, not even the last two elections. This has gone back maybe four, five, six, eight elections to where they're talking about voter fraud and the boxes got cooked. We got dead people voting. You know, we got people that are not citizens. You can just walk up and say, "Yeah, I want to vote." And it's just the absentee ballots and the people that are not there and I can mail in my ballots is just kind of like who's voting. This can be people that's in prison, this can be people that's abroad, this can be people that's under the city. We don't know. So it's just kind of like, how do you verify that the people, which are the so-called citizens, we the people that are looking to elect the right individual, how do we know that their vote is actually being counted? Or how do we know that all those votes are actually being counted correctly? How do we know that votes are not being added, based on whatever tactics may be used, whether it's taking out votes, putting in votes in the other box, that's fine, but we still need to verify, those votes go to a specific individual that lives here in the country, that has citizenship, you know, doesn't have dual citizenship. And if they have dual citizenship, well, then okay, where is the citizenship going? A lot of people would call that racist, but I don't see how that's racist. If I want to know who's voting, then why can't we have that information? You expect people to give up their information every 4 years or every whatever years when the census comes around, you know. So why can't you do the same thing for voting? I think you wouldn't have to do the census as much if you would just, okay, let me see who's voting. And then that would give you an indication as to who really is paying attention and who really cares about this process. So if you're just bringing in people illegally and giving them a home, giving them food, giving them money and cars, and you say, hey, you know who brought you here? Now you got to vote Democrat. You know, that's easy. That's cooking the books right there. You stacking the pack right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like it makes sense if you want it to be a fair fight, you know. And if it's not going to be a fair fight, as we say, mob rules. You didn't say I couldn't open the borders and then bring these people in, put them in hotels in different cities, and make these other people that are already citizens feel uncomfortable because they don't know what's going on. And then we're going to say these are asylum seekers because this is happening in their country. You just lied to the people, you know, so you can, keep your side in office longer. You can keep doing what you're doing, stealing money, laundering money, whatever the case may be. These are all things that have been coming out. And it's crazy. I just seen a clip where a young Democrat, asked Maxine Waters, and this is off topic, I'm sorry, but it's like, we need some new blood. We need some new people in this organization. Like, you guys have been up here for a long time. We've seen the same old things and it's not working and it's not getting better, you know? So it's like, that's the mindset that we need to see. Go ahead. You got it.
That was it. Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, so man, you bring up a lot of valid points. I think that it's absurd that you would have an issue with presenting identification to vote. I think voting is something that we fall for. I don't think that I know voting is one of the things we fall for. Voting is to be held at a certain self-esteem. I know it's kind of, corny or whatever when you get the little sticker, I voted, but that really means something. That means that you took your time out, hopefully put in some thought and because you wanted to see a change or you wanted to see things a certain way because it may be more of the same. Like the person that's in office may be the person that you want to stay there. And so for people to be upset, for that to be a requirement, that being having an ID, it's absurd to me. And it's like, even at the smallest thing, I like tennis shoes. I'm just keeping 100. I, probably have a lot more than I should have. And when you hit on one of these shoe raffles, you have to take your ID and you have to present ID to get your shoe. They have to make sure you are who you say you are, or you're not gonna get your shoes. And so if you could do that at that level to get a tennis shoe, why isn't it that at at the highest level voting, uh, making sure that the right person is in office, that like this thing, like making sure the person that runs the country is the right person in your opinion for the job, or maybe run the country is not the good idea. Again, let's use the word advocate for you to do things in the country that you want to see done or changed or remain the same. You're telling me that shoes are more important than that? When you go to the bar with drink alcohol, they card you usually, like to make sure if you go to a restaurant and sit down and you want to drink, if we go to the liquor store to buy alcohol, guess what? I go to Costco and I forget a lot of the times that I can't go through the other side, the self checkout. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go through the main checkout because I gotta show my ID. So you're telling me at that level that alcohol, the tennis shoes is more important than our right to vote? And what do I look like going into another country and I'm not a citizen of that country and I don't know really what's going on. I don't know a lot of what the policies are. I don't know who's who, and I have the right to vote and make a decision. No, doesn't make sense to me. And why people oppose this, why the other side oppose this, is for control. Cuzzo kind of alluded to it. Guess what? There was a certain people that they had under their thumb. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna incriminate us. That one side had under the thumb. They guess what? If you're black, vote for me. You know, if you want to see a change, vote for me. And guess what? We voted for them, and nothing changed. Things remain the same. Things got actually no, things got worse. And then we wake up. Then we start to realize that things are getting worse. That these are not the right people for us. People are starting to wake up. There's still some people who are, the eyes are wide shut. But there's some people who are starting to wake up. And guess what? You know what? We losing them. We need to get somebody else. So guess what? We gonna reach out to these people because they're the new up and coming people and guess what? We're gonna scratch their back a little bit. We're gonna do some things under the table, you know what I'm saying? So they could make sure that we stay in power. And that's what it's about. That's what we're not seeing. That's what we need to wake up from. I get it. They look like us, you know what I'm saying? They sound good because they talk with a little slang. You know what I'm saying? They may have what's that weave called? The solo, I don't know what it's called, whatever that thing is called. Yeah, it's some type of hairstyle, you know. But they look like us, they hair like us, they sound like us, but they're not advocating for our betterment. You know, they try to tell us we're just gonna tax the risk, but guess what? Like that driving tax, guess who that's gonna go to? That's gonna be for everybody. And I guarantee you, it's not gonna get, it's not gonna be the only one. Property tax gonna keep going up. They don't find ways to tax us so they can keep us. And I think, and I'll say it's like modern day slavery. Like we're giving away half our check to somebody that don't really do nothing for us. Why do we need this much maintaining of our lives? Tell me, think about it. Sit down and figure out, like, write down all the things that they do, all the things that got better, and see what you come up with, and see did you actually do a lot of these things, and then you'll start to see, you start to check those things off, and I guarantee you, you have more harm than good. Oh, did they prevent the fires from happening? Nope. Uh, did they advocate for us when the government was closed? They were advocating for another group. No. Uh, this tax on driving, are they saying no, don't do it? No. This to lower the gas. Did they advocate? Nope. They voted no. What's that? It's a Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. there's a part in there is, wherefore art thou Romeo, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, let me count the ways. Let us count the ways that they dogging us. Whoever's watching out there, like, do that for me. Sit down, write out what the government has done for you to better your life, and then let me know. If you find more ways that they made your life better, then hey, come on here and let me know I was wrong. Tell me I was wrong, and I apologize to you. But I guarantee you'll find, in my opinion, I should say, you'll find more that they made it worse or didn't make a difference at all. And so if nobody's making a difference, why do you need them? Why do you need them if they're not making a difference? They try to advocate that you need them and that they're supposed to manage you. No, they exist because we fund them. They exist because we pay our money for their salaries. And if they continue to not do things correctly, we need to say something. We need to do something. And so I know I'm ranting. I get like that sometimes. Um, but I think that's all I have on that. Let me see. Let me look.
All right, Forrest Gump, Forrest Doug. That's all you gotta say about that.
That's all I gotta say about that.